Hey Kingfishers, welcome back. This week we're going to be talking about creation of humans. We're going to be talking about how Adam and Eve were created, which tells us about how we were created. We're also going to talk about the seventh day, which is the Sabbath day. And then we're going to be reading in Genesis chapter 2, where it talks a little bit more in detail about how we were made. So let's start by reading in Genesis chapter 1. Last week we ended by talking about the creation of livestock and different animals. But on the same day, 6, we also have mankind, humans being created. So we're going to start with day 6, talking about how God created mankind. And then we're also going to look at day 7, which was the day of rest. So let's read from Genesis chapter 1, verses 26 to 31. Then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish of the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, over all the creatures that move along the ground." So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, over every living creature that moves on the ground." Then God said, "I give you seed-bearing plants on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruits with seeds in it, and they will be your food. And to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and the creatures that move on the ground, everything that has breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food." And it was so. God saw that all he had made, and that it was very good. There was evening, and there was morning, and there was the 6th day. So the heavens and the earth were completed in their vast array. By the 7th day God had finished the work he was doing. So on the 7th day he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the 7th day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work that he had done. Okay. So that passage actually goes into the beginning of Genesis chapter 2. So we actually read Genesis chapter 1 from 26 to 31, and then we read Genesis chapter 2 verses 1 to 3. And that talks about the 6th and the 7th day. So we heard at the end of the 6th day, God made humans. He made us to rule over all the animals, all the fishes in the sea, all of the creatures. He made us. He wanted to make humans so that they could rule over the land and help take care of it. God saw that it was good and that they needed somebody on the earth to care for them. And so God decided to make humans. And then after he decided to make us, on the 7th day, he rested. And typically we view the 7th day now as Sunday, the day when we go to church and the day that we give to the Lord. And it's really important for us to remember that there are 7 days in the week, and one of those days we should be really resting and really thinking about God, because God took one day off to actually rest and take a day off from his work and to just be, and we should take days off to just be and rest with God. But in Genesis chapter 2, it also talks about Adam and Eve, and it describes a bit more in detail about how God made Adam and then how he made Eve. So let's read those passages in Genesis chapter 2 now. Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. Now the Lord had planted a garden in Eden, and he put the man that he had formed there. The Lord God made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. In the middle of the garden he put the tree of life, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And then the Lord God commanded him, "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for then you will certainly die." The Lord God said, "It is not good for a man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." Now the Lord God had formed out of the ground all the animals and all the birds in the sky, and he brought them to the man, so he could name them. And whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. So he gave names to all the livestock, the birds in the sky, and the wild animals. But no suitable helper was found. So God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs, then closed it up the flesh. And then the Lord God made woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to him and said, "This is now the bone of my bones, the flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of a man." Okay, so in Genesis 2, we hear a bit of a description about how God actually made man, because when we hear it in the Genesis chapter 1, it tells us that he created man and woman, but it doesn't tell us how. But here we get to hear it. So the first man that was made is Adam, and he made Adam from the dust in the ground, and he breathed life into Adam and created him. And then to make a woman, he looked at all the animals around and decided that Adam really needed another person. He needed a partner. And so he made Eve. And he made Eve by taking a rib from Adam's body and made it into a woman. And so that's how God made male and female. He made man and woman. It's so amazing that that is where we started. And now we aren't made every time from ribs or from dust, but that's how God created us in the very beginning. And from there, he enabled people to have children, and that's why we're all here. Isn't it amazing how God created man and woman through the breath of his life, through dust and a rib? And God did everything with a purpose. And so he chose to make a man and a woman, and that they were the right ones to help each other look after the earth. It's so exciting to learn about creation and to know where we came from, because it's really important to know how we got here and how God made us and how wonderful and powerful he is. I hope that you've enjoyed looking at creation and also learning that we should also take a day to rest, even when we've been working really hard. Because God spent 6 days making an incredible earth full of animals and people, and then he took a lovely day to rest. And we can learn from that too. So don't forget that the entire world, all the birds in the sky and the animals and the sea and the stars and us, we were all created by God. And he is the one who's creator and in control. Have a good week, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.